So what is an institution? Well, we have quite a few of these in our world currently, whether they be educational institutions, governmental, or religious institutions. We have a lot of these things floating around. Fortunately, the word's going to help us out here defining what an institution is. If you break the word into three parts and then expand each of those parts into three words, you get an instinct tutoring ion. So what is an institution? It is an instinct tutoring ion. Now let's look at how that impacts our understanding. First, an institution works just at the instinctual level. It can change your thoughts, emotions, and actions, but it cannot change you. So an institution can only influence you instinctually, and that would be in your mind, your heart, or your body. The intent of the institution is to tutor not you, but your mind, heart, and body, to teach you how to think, feel, and act. So it's important to make a distinction between you being tutored, which cannot happen from an institution, and your mind, heart, and body being tutored. And that is what an institution can and will do. And thirdly, an institution is an ion. Now, an ion is simply a charged particle. It's either positively charged or negatively charged. So an institution, what it does is it's charging your mind, heart, and body. It's tutoring your mind, heart, body to be good. Good in a very specific way. Maybe good in your ability to be efficient or financially productive or using the environment correctly. Whatever they're tutoring you towards, that's giving you the positive charge. And then it's going to send you out into the world to destroy the negative, the evil, whether that be evil be ignorance or misuse of resources, whatever it is, whatever the institution is training you for, it's training you to be good, not you specifically, but your mind, heart, and body, and then they're going to send you out with that good positive charge to destroy the evil that's in the world. So an institution creates followers with a good charge, and the ultimate intent of that is to go out into the world, to go out from the institution and neutralize and destroy the evil. So how is an institution created then? How do we bring these things about? Well, the first thing that has to happen is there has to be an enlightened good. Humanity has to recognize something and say, hey, this is good. Knowledge is good. Growing food is good. Economics is good. Helping the environment is good. Whatever the good is, human beings have to get together and say, hey, this is good. It's an enlightenment. Then once we recognize that good, we want to establish it. We build schools and structures. We build roads. We build politics and laws around that enlightened good. It's good to have voting, right? It's good to have free will, but laws at the same time. So we start establishing that good as we see it, but then things get distorted in the end because we then try to enforce that good, which seems logical, right? It's good. We've established the good. It's definitely making things better. And now we need to enforce it. But this is where all the great horrors and corruptions come onto the world. So war comes from this. Once we have the good, we have to fight for that good. And anything that's not of that good nature needs to be destroyed. So wars and atrocities and horrible things come from institutions, but only because the institution is trying to enforce the good. But it's not the actual good, it's our human perception of that good, and that's where the problem lies. So institutions uphold their good, and that casts a judgment of evil upon all else. So whatever the institution says, this is good, then that's it. It's the only good. And anybody in that institution will only see that as good, whatever is upheld, and everything else will take on varying shades of evil. And the most evil shades are to be destroyed by the institution. So why then join an institution? If they corrupt the world in such ways, why even bother? Why not just stay away from them? Well, if you join an institution, you get to study a mass human creation. And this is very important because this is what we're here to do. We're here to create, and this institution is a massive human creation, sometimes spanning centuries. And it's very important to study that, to learn about who you are and who this world is in the way we've made it. You're also not just studying a mass human creation, but a creative human creation. Some institutions will outlast their creator or group of creators, however many human beings were involved. That means that the institution is actually a creative entity in and of itself. It continually creates followers or ideas or thoughts, and people follow the institution. And again, this is where things start getting really out of whack, because people are no longer running the institution is running the people. And that is where things get very corrupt. Because what happens is the institution becomes a self-sustaining entity. But there's no spiritual authority there. All the human beings are just following the institution. There's no one at the top who has free will to actually make decisions like mercy or justice. So the institution is just running on laws that it's been given, and it's going to destroy anything that threatens the institution mercilessly. And those who are following will play right into that. But it's important to study this, study the mass human creation, see how it's become creative in its own right, and see how it sustains itself. Now, why would you want to study this? Because studying institution, and you will see yourself. You want to see you, look at the institutions in the world. You want to know why these institutions bother you so much? Because they're you supersized. If you put all your thoughts, emotions, and actions together, you're going to get an institution. You're building one, and you don't like what you see in the world because you don't even like what you're building. And that takes us right to the logical conclusion: who then runs an institution? And the first place to start is your fallen soul. You are running your institution right now. You're building it. You're discovering the good. You're trying to establish the good, and you're also trying to enforce the good as you see it. And how are you doing that? You're fallen creations. You can't run everything. Your institution's too big already. So what you do is you put your mind, heart, and body into your team, and they start creating thoughts, emotions, and actions to go out and establish the good and enforce the good and continually unravel more good. They're doing that for you and through you. But beneath all this is your fallen knowledge. What you know to be good and what you know to be evil, that's what you're building on. The whole institution that you're building is about your fallen knowledge. By establishing what you believe is good and going out into the world through your institution, through your thoughts, emotions, and actions, and destroying evil as you see it. So that then unravels the true purpose of all human institutions, not just yours, but every human institutions, because institutions are built to uphold humanity's fallen knowledge of good and evil. That's why they exist, and that's why they are such a plague on creation.